What up, what up, what up? We are back. Welcome to Pete's Corner. I'm your host, Peter Soprano. Out there in Cyber World, B Money Drizzy Dre.
What's going on, people?
And we are back again to give you some good picks, to talk about what happened this past week and the Money in the Bank weekend. And listen, Dre, I thought it was a good pay-per-view. Obviously, without the crowd, that does take away from some of it. They kind of made the Money in the Bank a little bit weird, so we'll get to that a little bit later. But we kind of want to start out from the start. First match of the night that they really had, Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro. Jeff Hardy won. I didn't really get into it that much. It was obviously Jeff Hardy's big return, but I don't really have much thoughts on it. It didn't really excite me too much. What did you think about that?
I thought it was a regular match, probably like the same match we would see on Raw or SmackDown. It was just a filler match, a match they needed for the pre-show. To bring Jeff Hardy back, which is okay. I was okay with it.
All right. So let's get right into it. The first match of the actual pay-per-view. Four-way tag team. We both got this right. New Day tag team, four-way tag team, fatal four-way tag team. New Day, Forgotten Sons, Miz and Morrison, and as well as the Lucha House Party. I thought it was actually a pretty solid match. Lucha House Party is a group that I've never really been high on, but they really showed what they bring in terms of entertainment value. Miz and Morrison always good there. And then obviously the New Day, one of the best tag teams of all time. New Day won it. As I said, that neither one of us was really surprised because we both picked them to win.
Right.
It was a pretty solid match. What did you think about it?
I enjoyed it. I actually liked the match. There was a couple of high moments in the match and a couple of good stunts in the match. All in all, I thought it was a great match for, what it's worth, no crowd. But again, sometimes when there's no crowds, it allows the company and the writers to be a little creative. Yeah. And that's what they did. And I was entertained by it.
All right. So let's move on to the third match. This was another, to me, wasn't really a big match. Bobby Lashley defeats R-Truth. They seem to be trying to turn Bobby Lashley back into the old monster wrecking crew, just beat up everybody. Like, I just don't know if I buy it yet. Maybe. I will say it's better than what they were doing before, but it's still not really resonating towards me. And for this to be a pay-per-view, it was kind of just a nothing match to me. But what did you think about Bobby Lashley? And what do you think about the future of Bobby Lashley?
Honestly, as far as the future, I'm going to answer that one first. I'm not sure. I think his future in the moment is kind of standby, just like a lot of big names in the company that are on standby as well. Mm-hmm. But as far as the match goes, it was just a typical squash match. It didn't help him, to be honest with you. I was a little disappointed in that. I thought that, I would have been happier with a better opponent and a better storyline rather than, just going in there squashing R-Truth. To me, that's just wasting Bobby Lashley's time and talent. I think he has a lot of potential if used correctly.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird with him, and because we know how great he was before. He comes from the same background as a Brock Lesnar, who gets all the either hate or like or whatever. So he gets the buzz. So why doesn't Bobby Lashley get the buzz? Why doesn't WWE give him a mouthpiece like they did with Heyman? And it seems like maybe they tried to do that with Lana, but she's kind of annoying sometimes, and nobody believed, obviously, them two messing around when she's actually married to Rusev. So it was a very weird and awkward situation. I don't know what they can do, but they've got to do something with him because it's too talented to be wasted, in my opinion.
I completely agree. I remember when Lashley was hot, right when they had the reboot with ECW a couple of years back. And I remember when he was ECW champion at one point. And to me, he was having a great run. Like, at that point, I thought they were using him to his ability. And he was just starting to skyrocket. Mm-hmm. To me, I want to see that Lashley. I want to see the WWE book him that way. As a credible opponent, and as a credible champion. I don't want to see him going out there, these squash matches, because nowadays we usually know how that goes. You got the big star in these squash matches just to go on a pay-per-view, fight a big name, and lose.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but I agree with you, Pete. I do want to see more as far as the creative minds of the WWE go in a better direction with Lashley, because there's a lot of talent. I like Lashley, but sometimes they drop the ball.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Lashley. However, this, because of having no fans, this is the chance for WWE to go back to the basics, show the wrestlers that can really wrestle. Because I'm having fun watching NXT on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, there is more wrestling, less talking, and I still love watching the matches. This and WWE has so many talented people that they need, instead of making squash matches for 2 minutes or even the normal matches for 4 or 5 minutes, they need to be making every match like 15 minutes. Like, it needs to be a legit back and forth good match, and they shouldn't have squash matches. But I mean, that goes towards another topic. But let's move on to the next one. Bayley defeating Tamina. I didn't really think Tamina had much of a chance, especially after she beat Penn Bayley the week before on SmackDown. So that's usually what happens when you get beat up on the SmackDown. You're gonna win during the pay-per-view. So I pretty much thought Bayley, and you and me both said that we think that when Bayley loses the title, it's probably just somebody like Sasha Banks. And we're talking right now on a Saturday, and from SmackDown yesterday, we saw Charlotte Flair on air and challenging Sasha, saying, "Are you good with just being her lackey?" and everything like that. So you can see that starting to come now with Sasha Banks and Bayley. But in terms of their match with Tamina, listen, Tamina is, I think, 41, 42 years old. It'll be great if she ever got a title, but I didn't think this was going to happen. So I'm not surprised by this Bayley win.
It was pretty predictable. Like I said, well, like we both said, we kind of saw the direction that WWE wants to head with in Bayley. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was completely fine with the finish. It wasn't a spectacular match. It felt like a filler once again.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, the right woman won in this one. Yeah. And I was okay with the result. But just to talk, because I saw you bring up NXT, man. I just want to get your thoughts in the announcement that DX made with the In Your House NXT coming up.
It's pretty solid. That. I'm excited. Yeah, that did get a lot of buzz because people did talk about that. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it. I think with NXT, the thing with NXT is that people don't really go for not really the show. They go for the wrestling because they're such good wrestlers. They do crazy moves that they almost don't allow them to do on the big show. So I think they're more into the wrestling part, the people that really hardcore follow NXT. So that's why I kind of don't like what they're doing with Johnny Gargano and his wife. I understand what they're doing. They're making dinner with the Garganos and all that stuff, but to me, it's not entertaining. I turn on that bored me. They talked at the dinner table for 20 minutes, and I'm like, when is the next match going to start? Like,
yeah.
So I don't like that. But NXT is mostly about the wrestling. So no matter what they have on that card for that in-house thing, as long as the matches are good, nobody's really isn't going to matter. It's just going to be like an extra version of Takeover to people.
That's true. And the fact that you said Takeover, we're finally getting a Takeover because we haven't had one in months.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're going to get a Takeover, to me.
Last one was Portland. So
exactly. Wow. I know. Look, I can speak for you when I say that you're excited. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
That's going to come June 7th. That's not going to be, it's only a couple of weeks from today.
Yeah.
So are you guys watching? Stay tuned because we will talk about that as well.
Definitely. So moving on to the next match, start talking about the title matches. Braun Strowman versus not the Fiend, but the regular Bray Wyatt. And because he was the regular Bray Wyatt, was the reason why I thought that Braun was going to win. Kind of a weird match. It looked like he was giving in. Well, to some people, it may have looked like he was giving in to Bray Wyatt. He came out with the mask on and everything like that, and he bowed to him. And then all of a sudden, he took the mask off, stomped on it, and just power slammed him for the end. It's kind of boring. Kind of something that you could have been done on Raw. But, I mean, I understand they won the title defense. And now, most likely, as you saw the end of that episode, you saw the flash of the Fiend, and now it'll probably be a Fiend versus Strowman. So what did you think about that match?
Yeah, so this was the first match that that one of us got wrong. Mm-hmm. And I did get wrong, so shout out to you, man. Yeah, I made a reach with that pick, though. But like you said, it was a boring match. To me, it was a little underwhelming because I expected more. And I do agree with you when they did, this could have been on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And, they could have got a little bit more creative. But I did mention last time we were on here that that this potentially could have been a setup for the Fiend.
Yeah.
Which it did, and I'm okay with that, though. But as far as the match itself, I wasn't too big on it. It was all right. Just something, again, that could have been done on SmackDown, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I do think that when they do fight, it'll probably be at maybe SummerSlam, and then at SummerSlam, I think Fiend will win the title at that time.
I completely agree. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I think SummerSlam's the time to do it. I think SummerSlam between now and SummerSlam's a nice little build up
Yeah.
for Braun Strowman to face the Fiend, and then for
Yeah.
the Fiend to finally retain his title back.
Yeah. So moving on to the other title match, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. I thought this was actually a pretty good match. This was probably the match that I thought was the best in terms of pay-per-view worthy. It was great back and forth. Very surprising ending. Not because of McIntyre winning it, but because they actually shook each other's hand at the end of the match. And I thought that was very weird because for them trying to make Seth Rollins to be a bad guy that is pretty much saying, I'm the Messiah. Everybody should follow me. I should be the new leader. For him to kind of like submit to shake his hand was a little weird to me. So I'm not sure what they're doing with that, but I thought the match itself was good, but it's just a weird ending for me. What did you think?
The ending was a little bit weird. To me, the ending, and see, the problem with the ending is that it elevated one person and it kind of devalued the other person, right?
Yes.
Now, Drew McIntyre, not only, first of all, the match was great. To me, that was the match of the night.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy that they're finally giving Drew McIntyre this push because the guy can wrestle. The guy's good.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you got a good dancing partner with Seth Rollins, you're going to create magic and you're going to create good matches, and that's what we got.
Yeah.
As far as the ending goes, the person that was elevated, which was good, Drew McIntyre. You know, he defeated Seth Rollins fair and square, extended his hand out, to show good sportsmanship.
Yeah.
And you're right, it was a little weird. The Messiah, extended his hand out.
Yeah.
And looking like a little, beat, in my opinion, just because if you think about it, would AJ Styles have extended his hand out? I don't think so.
Definitely not.
You get me? So it's like if you're trying to portray him as a legitimate heel, you can't have those type of moments. That's why, I said that one person elevated from this scene, and that was Drew McIntyre. It's unfortunate too because at the moment it kind of seems like they're kind of clueless as far as where they're going to go with Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Well, speaking of going somewhere with Seth Rollins, we got a little bit of a taste of what's happening with Monday night with Dance Partner. But in correspondence with that, let's talk about the female Money in the Bank. The winner was Asuka, and you did get that right. And it was one of those things where I'm surprised how much they let Shayna get beat up. Like, this is almost like a payback from the Elimination Chamber, because during the Elimination Chamber, she eliminated every single person in the match. She looked so dominant, and now in this one, she was just getting beat up by everybody. So it almost was like this was her humble son. Like, let's humble her a little bit. Let's not make her into a complete monster. And I'm very happy that they let Asuka win. The one weird thing that nobody really talked about was her and King Corbin were at the top of the ladder at the same time. Why were they fighting? Like, I don't understand why they were fighting at the top of the ladder when they're both going for two different things. Like, they could have both reached up, both got their suitcases, and they both win. Like, why was King Corbin trying to stop her? And then it made no sense to me.
I agree with you. Like, in this match, we saw a lot of logic holes, and I'm gonna get to one of my logic holes in a bit though. But I do agree with you. Why fight each other when you guys aren't reaching the same briefcase? Go for the briefcase, and you guys could both win. I mean,
that was so stupid. I'm like, because I'm like, oh snap, they're both about to win right now, and then they start hitting each other. I'm like, why are they hitting each other? Like, you both win. Like, what are you doing? Like, no sense to me at all. But I thought it was a good combination of cinema movie style along with the actual wrestling. It was a little bit more movie style. I thought it would have been a little bit more wrestling because, I mean, you're wrestling on top of a roof. But they went more of I'm going to throw Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black over the side of the roof and, they may be dead and all this stuff. But it was a little bit, that part was a little bit weird for me. But the match overall was pretty good. And like I said, I'm happy that Asuka wins because I think they disrespected her a lot since she's been moved up to the main roster. So she was dominant in NXT, never lost a match at NXT. She's been dominant all over the world. And then she comes to the big stage, wins the Royal Rumble, wins everything, and then loses to Charlotte Flair. So I thought, and then when she had a chance and she was a champion, she snapped the streak. When she was a champion, then right before WrestleMania, she loses to Charlotte Flair again, so they can make that the both championship match with the triple threat in WrestleMania. So I think she's been disrespected a lot. I'm glad they gave her the title, which happened on Monday. But before we even get to what happened on Monday, what did you think about that match?
I thought it was a good match. I was okay with the fact that Shayna had to eat a little humble pie. That's
Yeah,
okay
yeah,
because again that makes sense, right?
yeah.
Elimination Chamber, she squashed everybody. Everybody knew, hey, we got to keep an eye on her. To me, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the part where Stephanie came in the office, which
Yeah,
I enjoyed.
on the roof.
I enjoyed the idea, but you could tell Steph wasn't there. You could tell it was a
Oh yeah.
different angle. But she was like, "That's not the case. You got to go to the roof."
Yeah, what's up with the Dana Brooke push all of a sudden? Like she doesn't excite me. She's not. She's athletic, but she's not a great wrestler. Like, what's up with that push lately?
Yeah, I have no idea, but and again, with everything happening now, we're gonna see a lot of unusual WWE superstars that normally don't get that push that will be getting a push.
Yeah, it was weird. And speaking of that, that leads right into the main event, the last Money in the Fight. The biggest shocker to me because I thought it could have been AJ. I picked Aleister Black. Obviously, it could have been Daniel Bryan. Obviously, it could have been King Corbin. I didn't think Rey Mysterio had much of a chance, but the other guy that I was like, I don't even know why he's in the match, Otis, Big Otis, that's in a tag team, wins the Money in the Bank, and then he was on backstage on Tuesday, and he even said, yeah, this may be a little bit of a singles push for a little bit. So it's so weird that you break up that tag team that's been a tag team for so long. Everybody knows them as a tag team, Heavy Machinery. And I understand, yes, he's getting a lot of hype. He's with Mandy and all this stuff, and he's getting a lot of pub. But to actually give him the Money in the Bank, like we talked about this before, the Money in the Bank, this is who you're going to push for like the next 6 months. Like they're going to win it like 90% of the time. 3 times they haven't done it. But almost every single time you're talking that this is going to be the next champion of your whole group. So to have him like be the face of your show for the next 3 to 6 months, it's just weird to me that they just gave that to him. I thought it would have been one of the more known people that can carry the show. So we're gonna have to see what Otis can do. What did you think about Otis winning it?
I was completely surprised by it, and I was pissed off because I thought I was gonna go 2 for 2. I really thought I was gonna go 2 for 2, and I was cheering at one point when AJ had the briefcase in his hands, but fumbled it because of King Corbin being assaulted by Elias.
Yeah.
Dude, when that thing fell into Otis' hands, I was like, "What the is going on?"
That's so weird.
Weird direction, weird ending. But to me, it's like you got the briefcase. You know what? Let me put it in this perspective. Imagine if he had the title, if it was a ladder match for the title,
Yeah.
and he fumbled the title into somebody's hands. That would have, to me, that's just as equivalent
Yeah.
as a title. And as you see, Oscar did get the title out of it.
Yeah.
Obviously different scenarios though, but how can you fumble that? And the other logical was when King Corbin, I believe, was that threw Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio over the ledge.
Over the ledge.
But we already knew that there was a big bed on the side of the ledge.
Yeah.
Because we saw that from the angle. Because remember, the helicopter was doing like the overview.
Yeah, and you can hear them hit something as soon as they went over the edge.
So to me, that was more the logical. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get a bigger angle.
Yeah.
In the match, but all in all, I know that they were very limited as far as what they could do.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
I got to see Vince McMahon in jeans for like the first time.
I know. Yo, the funny part was when AJ and Daniel Bryan were in the office, and as soon as they left, he started pumping the hand sanitizer.
Yeah. It was like they were all going crazy. They was like, oh.
Yeah, but all in all, I thought it was an okay match. I kind of enjoyed the females match a little bit more.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not a fan of Otis winning the Money in the title,
Yeah.
Bank, I'm okay with it because again, somebody fresh, somebody new, giving them a push. So I'm not opposed to that. I'm open-minded. If they're gonna give him a push, I'm looking forward to see where this goes. But he wasn't the one that I was pulling for nor expecting to win.
Yeah, if you're gonna give a push, I thought it would be Aleister Black. I didn't know that this kind of came out of nowhere.
This guy's hot. Aleister Black's hot.
It's funny because at the end of SmackDown, you had Corey Graves, who was hilarious. I love Corey Graves. Corey Graves was like, I don't think Otis realizes the power that he has in his hands with that suitcase. And then Cole comes in and says, and he has Mandy Rose too. Like, what the hell? Like, you got Mandy Rose and you got a future championship in your hands right now. Like, how can you beat that?
That's insane. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, But I'll say one way you can possibly beat this to some people is on Monday night, they started to make the announcement late Sunday that on Monday night there will be an announcement from Becky Lynch, and she came out early and said, listen, it's going to be, I want to bring Asuka out here. She won the Money in the Bank, and she made the announcement saying this one really wasn't for just the Money in the Bank, and opened the suitcase and said this was for the championship. You are the champion. She said, you go and be the champion, and I'll go be a mom. And she finally said to the world that she is pregnant.
I loved Asuka's reaction. I love it.
For real. Like, Asuka's my favorite right now. Like, she is my favorite. Asuka is so awesome, man.
I love Asuka, man. And I'm actually really happy. I'm happy that she won the briefcase.
Yeah.
And I had mixed emotions about her getting the title right away, but
yeah,
I actually feel good about it now. You know what? I think that yes, we did miss out on a possible good storyline.
Yeah.
But right now she's hot. She's hot.
See, but not even the storyline is what I'm disappointed about. Is that the initial reaction of you see Becky Lynch in a wrestling match or she gets beat up in the ring, and then you hear Asuka's music and she's running down to the ring with the case in her hand to try to cash in. That's the that I miss. So it's not even the storyline of those two. It's more of the excitement of seeing somebody cash it in. So and I really hope they let Otis keep it until they have fans back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it really will suck. If they have him cash in without fans and you don't get that burst from the crowd and everything like that, you're already going to miss out on that with Asuka. Just don't let that happen with Otis, too. Let him hold it until you can have fans and let him burst in, and then all of a sudden people go nuts that he's going to win the championship. That's what I hope.
That'll be pretty awesome. And hopefully everything will, soon get back to normal. Yeah. I know Otis has 12 months to cash it in.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe they might even do a.
Hope it does at WrestleMania.
Why not? Think about it.
We saw that. We saw Dolph did it the night after WrestleMania, so let him hold it till next year.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we're being optimistic that fans may be able to be let in soon, or at least by the end of the year. But I agree with you, P. I do want to see Otis cash this in front of a live crowd to get the excitement, so that not just us watching from TV could feel the excitement, because when we see people excited in the crowd, we get excited.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
you know what I'm saying? So
wrestling is one of those things that they do miss the crowd. Like we talked earlier about off the air, we talked about boxing, we talked about baseball and all the sports and we saw soccer came back, so we talked about that. They don't completely need the fans to be excited to watch the game. Wrestling kind of does need the fans. They need the excitement. They need the energy off of that, and not just for us, but the performers in the ring.
Exactly. It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes with the fans, obviously creates the experience. Without the fans, it allows certain superstars to go ahead in the ring and do what they got to do. Because certain superstars aren't good on the mic, and the fact that we're able to see Asuka speak in her own language without getting booed or what chants.
That's awesome.
It allows her to be her character, and and now I can guarantee you that by the time things get back to normal, people are going to be cheering her on.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Like I saw some of the old things of women's revolution and everything like that, and then when they showed the first women's Royal Rumble, and when Asuka won that, and they all talked about it. All the girls in the locker room said, listen, she's not from this country. She's been a superstar all over the world, and all of a sudden now it's so awesome to see that this girl is actually getting her due. Like, she deserves it. So I was very happy for her.
Exactly, yeah. So, again, weird times. Obviously, she capitalized on, the weird times happening. I hope that Otis could capitalize on it, or he'll be able to capitalize when things get back to normal and have a nice build-up. Again, I just hope they don't fumble the bag with Otis, because if so, they might have missed on an opportunity, like you said, on a guy like Aleister Black.
Yeah. I want to see what they're going to do with the Mandy thing, because Mandy is definitely going to be a thing. And you almost saw that yesterday when Otis and Braun tagged up, and then Braun turned around when Mandy was coming down to the ring, and he almost attacked him. So you can tell Mandy's definitely going to have some involvement in this. I want to see where that's going.
I hope so, and I hope they don't do no screwy finish where he's gonna go cash it in and she turns on him and cost him the because to me that sounds like typical WWE writing, but who knows?
All right, so I want to also, once again, we did touch on it. Congratulations to Becky Lynch on having her first child with Seth Rollins. It was the funniest thing on Raw because Seth Rollins was completely out of it and looked
Oh, you saw that.
completely wrong with him on Raw, and then that was after she made the announcement. It's weird. They built up those two as a couple for months at one point, and now yesterday not yesterday, but on Raw they like pretty much ignored it. Like they didn't say anything about Seth Rollins on the show itself when they built it up for weeks. So it was very weird, but it was funny to see Seth like losing it on. There was a bunch of memes that was made from that, like is the baby really mine and stuff like that. It was funny.
Wow.
Before we get out of here, was there anything else that you want to bring up? I thought you had something else to bring up.
No, other than the NXT takeover and just staying tuned for that. Also, the fact that we got Bundesliga back, to me that was a great sign. I woke up early for that. I saw the full matches without fans. It was a little bit weird though, but it was refreshing to get some good sports back, and sports in general, guys. Again, this is a betting show. If you would have took Pete's picks with championship matches, you would have won money. If you would have took picks in my picks as far as the Money in the Bank matches, you would have won money as well. Yep. And I was telling Pete earlier that, I woke up, I was watching these games, and I was live betting, and I won money as well. Now, obviously, we didn't do a show about that because, we don't want to put you guys in a situation where we're going to allow you to put money on these games where athletes are gone for 2 months, and there could be a lot of rust there. So, but with that being said, now with the return of the Bundesliga, we do want to let you know that we are going to give you guys picks for these games. There's a lot of good games coming up in the near future, a lot of props. So stay tuned for that because we do have SummerSlam around the corner. We do got some Bundesliga coming back, and I'm sure we're going to have other leagues opening up across Europe as well.
And no matter what, we're going to be talking about a lot more of WWE. We know a lot of people that signed up because they want to hear us talk more about WWE. So we're going to be giving you more WWE, hopefully every single week, talk about what happened the previous week. So we'll definitely be. And with that said, we're going to catch you guys next week. We'll leave you in slow motion with John Morrison. So peace out from a combination of Pete's Corner, and normally we're on Two Dudes in a Mexican too. So go watch and subscribe to both shows. So we'll catch you guys later. I'm Peter Soprano. That's D Money Jersey Dre. Peace out, guys.
Peace out, people. Take care.